Ayaan, there's so much to talk about. I'll let you grab some water while we on the time here. Sean was saying earlier that this is probably the safest room in Ottawa tonight. But I have to say, looking around at your security detail and the extra police officers that are here, it does take some getting used to. Because we are here in Ottawa. But what is that like for you, traveling that way?
Well, when I'm shopping, I'm self-conscious that there are pairs and pairs of eyes looking at what I'm buying. They have good taste, so they don't interfere with what you're buying. But you kind of feel like they're, eyes watching you. And the serious thing is you just have to decide live this way or hide. I was offered to go into the witness protection program. I didn't want to do that. Or risk what few of them go who made submission with me, the Dutch film director and a friend, risk that kind of, take that kind of risk. And of those three options, I decided to live within the parameters of the security.
How much does it change your life?
A lot. I mean, I have to think about every single move I make. There's always someone else who decides what I do when I do it. It's different. I can't talk about the details of the security because that compromises my security, but it's always someone here who's in charge of, my movements.
And obviously, where you are today and the path that you took necessitates you having that security detail. So maybe we can just take a few steps back and go back to your life growing up and some of the things that happened to you, some of those moments in time that slowly moved you away from your faith. Can you talk about what some of those key moments were for you?
Well, personally, I consider a key moment when my father and mother had a conversation about sending my sister and me to school. And my mother's argument was, don't send them to school, they're girls. When they reach the age of puberty, they're going to talk back, they're going to be disobedient. I've seen girls who are sent to school, I don't like what they're doing, don't send them to school. And my father insisted, I want my girls to go to school. And when we became teenagers, again my mother tried, almost pre-teenage in Kenya, just before he left for Ethiopia. I think that was another key moment. She said, well, now they can read and write. We had only had primary education. Pull them out of school. My father insisted, no, I want them to finish. And he blackmailed her and he said, if you remove my girls from school, I'm going to curse you in the hereafter, which is very effective for my mother because she completely believes in the hereafter. But for me, that was a key moment because it meant that I could finish secondary school, and exactly what she was afraid of, we talked back and we were loud and we developed a personality of our own. Another key moment that I understood in hindsight was the girls, when I was growing up, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, who were married off were too young at that time to take off and be independent. So my father's absence between 1981, 82 to 1991 was, it had a plus side and it had a negative side. It was negative that we were neglected for that long by our father. But the plus side for me was he wasn't there to supervise marrying me off earlier. At the age of 22, I became independent and savvy and seen so many things. Another key moment was coming to the Netherlands at the time that I did. Being allowed to go to the University of Leiden, for which the state of the Netherlands loaned me the money to go through that. I find that incredible in hindsight. I was really very lucky. These are all the key moments. And then obviously when I talk about my clumsiness with money, and there were always individual kind Dutch people helping me out, explaining to me, this is not how you do things.
And obviously along the way you developed this moving further and further away from Islam, and to the point where this became your life's work in many ways, through your political career, and then now today as an author and a vocal critic. That journey, when did you first see the cracks, and what do you remember about the time?
I think I saw the first cracks perhaps in 1991 when I went to the border between Somalia and Kenya to fetch some of our Somali relatives who had away from the civil war. Because all sorts of things that the clan was supposed to do, Allah was on our side. It just didn't make sense that innocent people who were leading their daily lives had to undergo that. And then when there was a woman who was raped by the Kenyan police, and everyone knew on the camp that she was raped by the Kenyan police. She had to then be left alone in a tent to die alone with no water, because her fellow refugees were saying, she's filthy, she has no honor, and even going near her somehow tainted your honor. And I think those days I started, my mind was, but where's the bloodline, where is God, where is compassion, where is mercy, what this is. And I was 21 at the time. So very frightening experience. Going to the University of Leiden, I think I was exposed to 5 straight years of reading theories and hypotheses about society, whether it's the individual or the collective, about power, and not just digesting what you read and reproducing it, but looking for the critics of that theory, and then you yourself being taught, criticizing yourself and come up with new ideas. And I think that time I wasn't really thinking much about Islam or saving the world or anything like that. I was just thinking about getting my marks. But I think it was a very good pre-education, because when the 11th of September came, I was able to take a step away from Islam as a set of beliefs and scrutinize it simply as a hypothesis, as a political theory, and then make my decision based on the blemishes that I saw that theory had.